everybody, to our August 17th commission meeting. Thank you all for being here. We will call this meeting to order, and if you'll join me in rising for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Amen. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. We've got a couple really cool presentations on our agenda today. Our first presentation is the Local Action Award, the Gladys E. Douglas Preserve. That is being recommended to be postponed because the gal that was going to be here could not be here tonight. So we will can I have a motion to postpone that item?
Second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Our next item is the CEQS 2023 Dunedin Environmental Hero Awards. Natalie, come on forward. And I will put it in your capable hands.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, everyone in the room and watching online. Natalie Gass, Sustainability Program Coordinator for the City of Dunedin, and we are excited to announce this year's Dunedin Environmental Hero Awards. With me is Catherine Owen, Pat Blizzard, and Susie Dickinson from the Committee on Environmental Quality and Sustainability, who will be announcing the awards on behalf of the committee. I want to introduce them first.
Very good. Welcome. Come on down.
Thank you.
Hello.
Welcome.
I'm Pat Blizzard.
Susie Dickinson.
There you are.
Welcome.
So, thank you for allowing us to make this presentation. We're here on behalf of the Committee on Environmental Quality and Sustainability, which is referred to as CEQS. You'll hear and see some of that. And we're presenting this year's Dunedin Environmental Hero Awards. Every year, for a number of years, we've done this. We had, because I've been on the committee a while, we had the best group and best group of nominations this year. We received a number, and we put them into categories, and we have 9 that we would like to award today. They're going to be 5 categories: the educator, nonprofit organization, grassroots ambassador, government employee, and small business. And to the awardees, as we finish and recognize you and you receive your award, please don't scurry out, because we do want to get some photos at the end.
Okay, and we have 3 categories of in the educator, for the category of educator award, and the first award goes to Sierra Riling. Sierra is a motivated activist who participates in local and regional projects and organizations. She's involved with the Florida Gulf Coast Hope Spot and the nonprofit organization Blue Green Connections. Sierra started her own video series called Hope Learning Webinars, which is focused on engaging the youth in a creative and modern way. These videos include interviews she's conducted with local experts, scientists. She's also passionate about volunteering to help the environment and the community grow. You can often find her at cleanup events and educational programs focused on our precious waters. Sierra is an advocate for marine wildlife and encourages community members to join in the efforts. Congratulations, Sierra, and thank you for being a Dunedin Environmental Hero. The next in the category of educator goes to Dana Zychek. Dana is dedicated to several environmental issues on campus at the San Jose Elementary and has been supporting these efforts for 5 years. She's the champion for the community vegetable gardens on campus. During harvest season, she collaborates with the cafeteria manager to provide lunch menus for both students and staff with offerings from the garden. Because of these efforts, elementary students at the school have been known to say that bok choy is now their favorite vegetable. That's nice. She also helps maintain the compost pile, the Florida-friendly landscaping, and the native plants on campus. Further, Dana advocates for the gopher tortoise population, has even rescued and relocated one to the protected habitat. These intergenerational initiatives have had a positive impact on the students, parents, and staff at the Jose Elementary School. Congratulations, Dana, and thank you for being a Dunedin hero. The last category of educator goes to Carol Smith. Carol recently retired from her 23-year career of teaching. 6 of her 23 years were spent at San Jose Elementary as a reading teacher. She passionately incorporated environmental protection and education into her classroom. Despite the school district's decision to cancel recycling programs, she continues to recycle classroom paper in her free time and educate her students on the importance of this process. She demonstrated how items can be reused and recycled to reduce natural resource consumption. She also supported the landscaping and gardening efforts on campus, including the native landscapes and organic community vegetable garden. Carol played an active role in developing green spaces for the school, which has had a lasting impact, enabling students to have more outdoor learning experiences. Carol's passion and efforts have reinforced the important initiative at the school, which impacts the students, staff, and parents. Congratulations, Carol, and thank you for being an environmental hero.
Now we turn to the second category, and that is nonprofit organization. The first award goes to the Salty Soul Foundation. Pretty amazing group. They can't be here? I'm sorry, they can't be here, but I'm going to tell you about them anyway, because what they've done is pretty impressive. There was a family emergency, so John and Mary could not be here. Since 2017, the Salty Soul Foundation has cleaned over 27,000 pounds of trash from our beaches. The majority of these cleanups have been held at the Dunedin Causeway, and some of you have probably participated or seen them. The Salty Soul Foundation is a beach cleanup nonprofit organization that's dedicated to preserving and protecting the environment through its various initiatives. The organization has raised awareness about the detrimental effects of pollution on our oceans, marine life, and they organize beach cleanups to remove that trash and debris. The organization has mobilized over 6,100 volunteers of all ages. They collect and properly dispose of the thousands of pounds of litter and marine debris. To expand their impact, they've partnered with many other organizations, including the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and the Brownies from Pinellas and Hillsborough County. Congratulations to the Salty Soul Foundation. Our third category is the Grassroots Ambassador. The first person getting this is Elizabeth Faubert. Elizabeth is garden manager of the Dunedin Community Garden. Through gardening, she inspires, spreads enthusiasm, and encourages community members to become better stewards of Dunedin's environment. Her passion even leads her to anonymously weed the garden plots of others, leave anonymous art rocks and signs, plant surprise plants, and restore raised beds. To encourage community involvement, She blogs about gardening education, produces videos about the Dunedin Community Garden, and organizes monthly workshops on gardening, healthy soil, and healthy cooking. She invites young mothers to bring their children to picnic in the garden and to further explore and learning about the plants and the pollinators, which are so important. Elizabeth has also built a number of taller raised beds that allow those with mobility challenges or those seniors who can't bend over too well to garden too. Congratulations, Elizabeth. The second award in the category of Grassroots Ambassador goes to Kim Sauls-Begay. Kim is the Vice President and Conservation Advocate of the Clearwater Audubon Society. She is dedicated to rescuing wild birds and protecting their vital habitats. She has worked for over 15 years in a formal capacity, but her passion for bird rescues started when she was just 16 years old. She is one of the few original rescuers of the Tampa Bay area. She has worked with many organizations, including but not limited to Raptor Center of Tampa Bay, All Birds Rescue Rehab Release, Friends of the Pelicans, and Birds in Helping Hands. All those organizations, in all those organizations, Kim has served in a multitude of roles, including a bird of prey rescuer, an osprey rescue specialist, a wild bird rescuer, and president or chair in a number of the organizations. Kim has shared how the community and resources around wild birds have grown exponentially in this region over the years. Much of its development she has contributed to. She has spent long hours rescuing and saving birds' lives and remembers when she would have to hold birds overnight until she could get them to a rehabber. Kim is an advocate for the protection of all local wildlife, and her many rescues in Dunedin have been unprecedented. Her wingspan of impact reaches many community members as she also educates through speaking engagements, videos, and at local meetings. Congratulations, Kim.
On to the first award in the category of Government Employee. This award goes to Dan Larimore. Dan is an environmental specialist and park biologist at Honeymoon Island State Park, where he has worked for over 15 years. He is responsible for environmental management activities at the park, which includes its administrative areas: Honeymoon, Caladisi, Three Rooker, Anclote Key, and Egmont Key. They receive over 1.5 million visitors annually. He's a tireless advocate for wildlife, working closely with the Audubon Society on monitoring and recording shorebird nesting activities on all the islands. Dan is also responsible for the daily crack of dawn turtle nesting patrols during Honeymoon's sea turtle nesting season. Before he came to work for the Park Service, he held a senior leadership position at Clearwater Marine Aquarium and is an unquestioned expert on Florida's sea turtles. On top of all this, Dan manages invasive and exotic plants on the islands and also assists the public in learning about parks' irreplaceable natural treasures. Congratulations, Dan, and thank you for being an environmental hero. The second award in the category of Government Employee goes to our very own Craig Wilson. Craig is not available tonight to receive this award, but his efforts are greatly appreciated. And we'd just like to speak on his behalf that Craig is the City of Dunedin's arborist and diligently works to protect Dunedin's trees and critical ecosystems. For over 18 years, he has been conducting site visits with homeowners, guiding the city parks and recreation team on best management practices, working on efforts to improve Dunedin's tree canopy and Tree City USA standing, and being an overall advocate for the environment. Craig knows the trees have countless benefits to the environment and the community, which keeps him driven in his work. Access to trees can lower temperatures in neighborhoods and parks and help reduce individuals' stress levels, improve mental health, strengthen immune systems, reduce crime, improve student academic performance, enhance soil health, provide habitat, and support stormwater systems, among other benefits. This certainly is an impactful work. A few years ago, Craig and the city's former arborist, Art Finn, discovered a huge Sweet Bay magnolia tree deep in Hammock Park. After extensive research and measurements, Craig has successfully had the tree recognized as a state champion tree on the Florida Register and is now the largest known Sweet Bay magnolia in Florida. Craig is certainly the local Lorax as he speaks for the trees, and we are all grateful for his dedication. So again, congratulations to Craig, and thank you for being a hero. The final award for tonight's program is the category of small business, which goes to Dunedin Health and Wellness. Dr. Kim Rohr and her team at Dunedin Health and Wellness have talked the talk and walked the walk for over 20 years when it comes to environmental awareness and action. With over 62 happy patients, they stress whole life healthy living practices while caring for the environment. They promote and sell all natural products, none of which have harmful chemicals that could get into the environment. They are gentle proponents of vegetarianism and are good stewards of the earth's animals and plants. They limit single-use products, including using real linens washed in biodegradable soap instead of paper exam table covers, as well as terry towels in restrooms instead of paper towels. Their business has no lawn, and the landscaping is drought tolerant, which reduces irrigation needs. They recycle at business and at home and compost food waste as much as possible. The team is constantly considering how their actions impact the environment as they work to decrease their footprint and to be a role model for Dunedin. Patients have said that when they enter the office, they feel the peace and intentionally behind the business actions. They truly care for their patients, the earth, and our future generations. Congratulations, Dunedin Health and Wellness, and thank you for being an environmental hero. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to say that this concludes this year's CEQS Dunedin Environmental Hero Awards. Let's give a big round of applause one more time as we congratulate the awardees and express our gratitude. Thank you. Thank you.
And we'd like to hear a round of applause for our Environmental Quality Committee and all the hard work that they've done to put this together. And thank you, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you. We'd like to invite all of our heroes up for a quick photo in the front.
Come on down. Oops, sorry. That's all right. I'll hold your hand any day of the week. Come on, just stand all in front. They'll tell you where to go.
Just get the environmental heroes first.
Okay, so 2 photos then?
Yeah, yeah, get 2 photos.
Scoot on down.
Wait, we have some more? Yeah, turn your certificate around, upside down. There we go. Oh, that's great.
Can I squeeze through it
You
more?
bet.
Sorry. 3, 2, 1. Got it. And then did you guys want to go?
Awesome.
No? Okay.
It's so great.
They're the important people.
All right.
Yes,
Good
they
job,
are. Thank you.
guys.
Okay.
Congratulations. I can't tell you how proud it makes all of us to see all these great people that care about our 10 square miles here in Dunedin and beyond. It's really important, so thanks again, guys. And you guys don't have to stick around. You can go. We're happy to have you, but we won't try to confine you. Yeah, that was great. Aw, she got flowers. So pretty. Thank you. I'm just hanging on because I don't want to talk while they're talking. All right. Somebody want to close that door real quick just so that they can chat out there all they want? There you go. Thank you. Okay, so our final presentation for the evening is a very special recognition and honor of the outgoing director and CEO of the Dunedin History Museum and our official city historian, Vinnie Luisi. So can I invite Vinnie Luisi to come forward, and anyone here from the History Museum, come on down as well. Right to the podium. So I'm sure anybody watching, and of course most people in this room, have been to the History Museum or the History Museum store once or twice in your lifetime, and hopefully more. Vinnie has been sort of the arbiter and the guider and shaper of this organization for 30 years. The grant writer, the I know everything about Dunedin guru. I can remember working on an issue with Cedar Creek, a very contentious issue with Cedar Creek. And I thought, who can I call that has no opinion one way or another that can give me factual information and photographs? And it was Vinnie. Vinnie pulled out a long list of, I don't know, stuff from 1900 something. Showed me pictures of what Cedar Creek used to look like when everybody was saying, oh, it never had water in it. There were never boats in Cedar Creek. Well, he proved them wrong. And I still thank you for that, because I still have those pictures. But this guy has really, first on the board, right? And then hired to be the director. We can't thank you enough. And a lot of other people have other things to say, so I don't want to take away from their time, but we can't thank you enough for everything you've given to this community. You mean a lot to us. We know your heart has always been in the right place. And on behalf of the City of Dunedin and my colleagues, we would like to present you with a little thank you for your 30 years of service to this community. So I know my commission has some stuff to say, but I want to give Mark, who is the chairman of the board for the History Museum, a shot to say a few things too, and then we'll open it up to others.
Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor and all the commissioners. We're grateful for the opportunity to be here tonight with you. Today we don't just celebrate a milestone, but we'd like to recognize the vision, commitment, and spirit of a man who has become synonymous with the preservation and celebration of Dunedin's rich history. Mr. Vinnie Luisi, for 30 years with the Dunedin History Museum, has been more than a keeper of the past. He has been its architect, shaping the way that we understand and appreciate our community's legacy. From the quaint and antiquated train station that once stood, Vinnie helped to envision and transform a space that has since grown into the magnificent museum that we proudly call our own today. Yet his accomplishments extend far beyond the brick and mortar. He constructed bridges, not that of steel, but of stories and shared experiences, inviting each of us to walk with him through the annals of Dunedin's past. With innovative initiatives like History Comes Alive at the Dunedin Cemetery, Vinnie has given voice to those who came before us, ensuring that their tales will continue to inspire us. And who among us can forget the enchanting Dunedin Express event? Every Christmas season, the museum and its volunteers have transported our children to a world of magic and wonder, reminding us that history isn't just about the dates and events, but about people, emotions, and the moments that unite all of us. Vinnie's 3-decade commitment has solidified the foundation upon which future generations will stand, learn, and grow. His work will be remembered not just as a chapter in Dunedin's history, but as a testament to what is possible when one man's passion is ignited by his love of the community that he lives in. Today, on behalf of the Dunedin History Museum, we salute you, Vinnie Luisi. May the legacy of your work echo through the corridors of time, serving as an enduring reminder of the power of history and the boundless potential that one man's vision for the future, his passion for the past, can combine with our community's history. Thank you.
Susan, did you want to say anything?
I don't think I can. I'm going to cry.
Okay, well, I'll turn to my colleagues, but just stay right there. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Vinnie, wow. I'm going to be very brief because everything that I say is really solid about you, and I don't want to just go on because that's what could happen. The part about you that is just always so memorable for me is you talk about the people. It's about the people that were in Dunedin, and I just love that. I've always loved that. With that, you also knew the history that went behind that, and the parts and the parts of the city that were affected by that. And if anybody would ever ask me, what about that or what about this, and if I didn't know about it, I would always say, ask Vinnie. And I would send them to Vinnie. And you always pulled that off just fantastically well. You were highly respected, well known, and I appreciate everything you have done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vinnie.
Commissioner Cow.
Thank you, Mayor. We just had the decommissioning of our city hall, and you heard there's a common theme tonight when it comes to the history of Dunedin and the things that we've done, and that common theme really does come back to the strength of the community itself, not necessarily a particular building, although there are always stories to be told inside a building. But it just goes to the testament of who we are as a community, and the idea that for all the divisiveness, for all this uniqueness that we have in Dunedin, not the divisiveness, don't want to go there, but all the uniqueness, stories always hold our cure. And as long as we know more about people, as long as we know more about the events, certainly the stronger we are as a community. And so it's just been wonderful that you not only know the facts of Dunedin, but you know the stories behind them. You know not just the person, but the family. You know what they did. You know how they got here. You know how they passed on in a lot of instances. And so it is that kind of knowledge that just rolls off your tongue so seamlessly and effortlessly. And I know that I have certainly asked you, how did you learn all that? Like there's a college course that you could take. And you would basically, time and time again, it's your love for Dunedin and just, you never stop learning, right? Just continuing education just about who Dunedin is and who we are. So thank you, sir, for the service that you've provided. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Franny.
Okay, Vinny.
It's been an emotional night all the way around.
It has been an emotional
I'm still
night.
cringing from what you said at the old city hall on that.
Yeah.
So Vivian hired you, right? Pretty much?
Yeah.
Vivian Grant? And of course, Vivian, as we all know, gone now, but the grand dam of our town. And she had such a passion, and she found you. And I would declare tonight you surpassed every vision of what Vivian wanted. And you stayed here. You made Dunedin your life work. It's been a gift to our city, a big gift. And I, obviously I was on the board. I left Dunedin to work for Pinellas County when I was a staff person. And you hooked me in to be on the board of directors. So I was on there for, 10 years? And
Yep.
2 years as liaison once I became commissioner. But I just lost my notes and my phone went off. Hold on a minute here. And of course, we lived through Centennial together. And I say that exactly the way I mean it. We lived through Centennial because, of course, as we talked about at City Hall, Vinny had, everybody thought you were gone kind of heart attack.
Yeah.
And you survived it. And thank God you did, because then you could carry on the vision that you continue to complete. You're the carrier of our history. And you brought history to life with the many acting things that you did for characters in Dunedin. So, Vinny, I mean, we've known each other a long time. I love you. You've been great for Dunedin. You've shared so much for Dunedin. You've given so much for Dunedin. And, enjoy your retirement.
Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Claudia, in my first experiences here in Dunedin was History Comes Alive in the Cemetery. And we thought that was absolutely the most unique and wonderful event, and I know that you were the architect of that. Then the second thing we got involved with was the historic preservation of our house, and the resources that you provided set us on a journey that truly has become a passion with regards to the preservation of our historical fabric. And I just want to personally thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
I had to say this one final story that, I probably have a lot of different stories with Vinny and I. We've talked about so many different subjects over the years. I won't go into all of them. But, and we've gossiped quite a bit, too, by the way. I don't know if you know that about Vinny, but he's a good gossip if you really want him to be. Which any girl loves a good gossip. Vinny, somebody called the History Museum. I'm not exactly sure how you found out about it, but there was a house over off of Union Street that when somebody moved in, there was a gravestone. Remember that?
Yeah.
In their backyard. And I don't know how I found about it. Might have been in the paper, or maybe you called. I don't remember exactly how I found about it, but the big thing was, is there somebody buried with the gravestone? Yeah. So Vinny and I are talking every day, how do we figure this out? Yeah. And who's got that kind of sonar sort of stuff that can figure out if anything's down there? They don't even have that in cemeteries. They use a big long stick. I don't know if y'all know that. I know way more about this than I should. So anyway, and I said, you know what, Vinny? I am really into history as well, and I'm really into genealogy. That's kind of if I want to check out and do something, that's what I do. I said, why don't you let me look up these 10 names? And there was I don't know how many names, but there was a lot of names on this one thing. And I said, let me play around with it. Let me see if I can figure out who they are and how they're connected to the home. I knew all the different owners from the property appraiser. It took me about 2 weeks and solved it. found out who these people were and how they were connected to the home. The family's from New Jersey. And like the son of the son of the son of the nephew, somebody brought the headstone with them down here and left it in their backyard and then moved away. And because there were so many names on there, I couldn't figure out, like, I mean, you'll see a few, right, on the big long ones, but this is a normal headstone with like 10 names on it. Well, apparently in New Jersey, they bury everybody on top of each other. Well, the guy took the headstone and never replaced it. So I called that guy's mother. I found her. I mean, this is Vinny and I are talking every day. I'm like, do you want me to call the mom? Yes, call the mom. Do they want this headstone? And we were even trying to find trucking companies that would take this heavy thing. But this is the kind of stuff that Vinny did. I mean, they eventually didn't want it. I'm not sure what Vinny did with it. And I would be heartbroken if it's like in the trash somewhere, because to me that's like history. And so I'm not going to ask. But I mean, we spent like a month working on this thing, and I'm sure he has like 100 other stories like that of solving historical questions. And I'm thinking, boy, that's a great job, just to have to answer historical questions and do all that research. And you're going to still be around, and you're going to still have that institutional knowledge. And I know that since you've retired, the History Museum has hired a new director. She's got huge shoes to fill, but you'll be around to try to fill some of those burning questions that she might have. But nobody's ever going to fill your shoes, Vinny.
Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your service.
Okay. To answer your question, the new owners actually kept the stone and made it a rock garden.
Oh,
so-
that's right.
Yes.
Now I remember.
Yes, they liked the idea of the history of the stone. I just want to say some quick things. First, thank you all for being nice to me.
We would be nothing else,
Well,
nothing but nice to you, Vinny.
And besides all of you, I want to thank the city for all the years of participating with the museum. If it wasn't for the city, I don't know where we'd be today. So you should all take credit for what we've got today at the museum. I really want to thank from the past and the present and for the future, all the people I've worked with, which is many volunteers, many board members, many individuals that came and had interest in history, the school teachers, too many to name individually, and I just want to say that I've enjoyed working with all of them, and that it's a passion, as you said, Mayor. It's a passion. It's a job, but it's been a passion for my last 30 years, and I appreciate that. And I just, again, want the museum to grow in the future, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the next 30 years. And I know it's going to be even more so than it is today. That will be better. And again, I just want to thank one person. Mo mentioned it, that in 1993, I walked into the museum like any other citizen that wanted to know about the community. And sitting at a little desk in a 1.5 room museum was Vivian Skinner Grant. And we chatted, and she knew that I had a museum background. She grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "We need you." And it was from that day on that I've been with the museum, so I personally want to thank Vivian for getting me involved too. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
We love you, Vinny.
Thank you.
I have to end this. Who from Brooklyn could know more about Dunedin than Vinny
Luisi, I know.
And everything has an ER on the end
Yeah.
of it. Melber, Linder, it's just so cute the way he does it. Thank you all so much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
God, I mean, we started at 4 o'clock. I don't know that we can go through too many more emotional moments tonight. Okay, bye, guys. All right, so next we have citizen input. Anybody wishing to speak on any item that is not already on the agenda? If it's on the agenda, you'll have a chance to speak to it then. Anyone wishing to come forward? Yes, ma'am.
Claudia Walker, 255 Garden Circle North. I am here tonight as a proud member of the Dunedin Youth Guild, and to let you know that we have announced December 2nd as our holiday home tour. You know that this is a huge fundraiser for our club, and we assist all the youth of Dunedin, and we give out scholarships, all that thing. So we really appreciate your support and look forward to all of you being hosts in each individual
All right.
house.
Get with our assistant in the office to get it on our calendars so
December
that we can
2nd.
do it now. Just saying.
December 2nd.
Thank you, Claudia. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to any item that's not already on the agenda? Welcome.
My name is Renee Chia. My address is 1229 Royal Oak Drive. My family and I moved here in 2020 from a horrible place known as California. It was not always horrible, but has become so under poor leadership and failed public policies. Dunedin, under your leadership, is heading down the path of some of these failed policies. Tonight, I will address one of these with hopes you will change course and messaging regarding dogs. Just so there's no confusion, I brought this visual for you of my dogs. This is Gunther and Nightmare, and the boy in the photo is my youngest son, Eric. I'm definitely not anti-dog. I got Gunther for Eric on his 10th birthday, and that began an unexpected journey for our family into a love for training and competing dogs that was way above the average for most families. We worked with many clubs and professionals with vast experience in training canine dogs for the police and military, competition and personal security dogs, and every type of service dog. As we lived through the implementation of policies such as Dog Eden, let me tell you what we saw. Dogs in grocery stores and restaurants will lead to disgusting floors and reduced sanitation throughout the establishments. These businesses are not staffed to do the level of cleanup necessary to maintain sanitation with the constant drool, pee, and duties that happen when you allow dogs to roam free everywhere. But what about service dogs, you say? The problem with allowing service dogs near food is how is a business owner supposed to know a service dog from a pet where people purchase service dog tags online? It's unreasonable to expect businesses to police this policy. Every single trainer of service dogs that I have ever known has said the same thing. Dogs do not belong around food. In case anyone is wondering where the cutoff is, it's food. If a business owner wants to allow dogs on an open patio, that's okay, as they also allow smoking on their patios. But inside the establishment's not okay. Remember the days of smoking sections in restaurants? If you were a non-smoker, that was too bad. You got to participate in it anyway. And it impacted other people's freedom and comfort. As to the grocery store, the argument for service dogs has long been about access. This day and age, a disabled person can get a friend, family member, or caretaker to help them grocery shop. They can order curbside pickup or get home delivery. There's not a valid public policy argument to allow dogs around food. The other thing this messaging creates is the off-leash problem. I've been noticing a lot of folks since this messaging went out walking their dogs off-leash in the park. And although I'm the first to come up and talk to you about your dog, the problem with this is if I'm walking my dog, I have one of them that's not dog-friendly. And because someone else's dog is now off-leash, now we're trying to mitigate a dog fight instead of, saying hello to each other with our dogs. So I want you to think about the unintended consequences of some of this messaging that can happen. And I recommend we continue to call Dunedin the city of trees and let business owners decide for themselves what level of dog service they would like to provide their customers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to come forward and speak to any item that's not already on the agenda?
Hi, good evening. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live at 802 Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. This is a photograph of a wetland beside the Sutherland boat ramp in Palm Harbor, just off of alternate 19. The cattails in the photograph have been sprayed with an aquatic herbicide or a mixture of herbicides killing the indigenous vegetation that belongs in the wetland. The Brazilian pepper, an invasive species, has not been sprayed, and it remains alive and is healthy. The contrast as to what has been killed versus what remains alive in this photograph is alarming. The photograph displays evidence of an environmental dismanagement and represents a lack of proper stewardship in protecting the environment as legislated by statutory law. The killing of all the indigenous aquatic plant species using aquatic herbicides has been rampant throughout the state for years. Meanwhile, the government has been ignoring invasive species such as Brazilian peppers, which grow opportunistically both in wetland and in upland habitats. Furthermore, the state has intentionally engaged in the planting of many non-native plant species such as bottlebrush, oleanders, viburnum, pittosporum, all of which are poisonous, while simultaneously the state has been promoting the systematic killing of our indigenous wetland plants, applying chemical sprays such as copper diquats, destroying our water supply in its process. Florida was once full of fruit trees. The government, to my recall, has never planted a single fruit tree in the promotion of its development practices, yet the state, the county, and the city has engaged in the planting of non-native, invasive, and even poisonous plant species while systematically spraying noxious chemicals into our wetlands, deliberately killing off, methodically eradicating our indigenous aquatic plant life while ravaging our vital water supply. The combination of no longer having any fruit-bearing trees in the town, but only having non-native poisonous plants planted by the government while simultaneously killing our indigenous aquatic vegetation, poisoning our water supply with chemicals, is the definition of a government that needs to be pulled out by its roots and discarded as an invasive act of deception. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anybody else wishing to come forward and speak to any item that is not already on the agenda? Okay, a couple things I want to address. David, and you don't come back up, but as you know, that is a county issue. That's something the county is doing. We have an invasive removal program. I think it's important for you to talk to Pinellas County about that issue, because we're not allowing Brazilian peppers. If we see them, we remove them if they are on city land, and we also work with our residents to remove those invasives. So.
It was a Fish and Wildlife meeting in St. Petersburg.
Yeah. Okay, but thank you for bringing it to our attention. We just talked about our tree guy. He works on that, and any number of our our environmental quality committee that was just here earlier. They're all working on those invasive programs. Our hammock advisory committee does invasive removals, which I know Commissioner Gal's taken part of. So we're on top of it on our end. So it would probably be smart for you to let the county know about that. Regarding the doggy messaging, this is a state law, it's not a city law. Okay, so if grocery stores are allowing dogs into the grocery store, it's because the state's allowing them to. It has nothing to do with any of our regulations. We don't control that. Even doggy dining is a state law. We have accepted it, we haven't banned it, but it's regulated through the state. So whether they're allowed inside or outside, it's not our regulation that does that. That's a state thing. We do have a leash law that's enforceable, but as you know, the police officer, we only have so many, and they're going to enforce when they see things or when they're called by things. We have one area in the city where the dogs are allowed off leash, and that is a small area within the flat area of Hammock Park, and they're only off leash certain times of the day for training purposes and that type of thing. Otherwise, they are required to be on leash at all times. And the dog-eaten messaging, we didn't invent it. Somebody else did, literally. And It just it's kind of like the oranges. It organically grew. So the messaging isn't really coming from us, but I will tell you, I've posted dog eating before too. So, I mean, I'm guilty of that, but it's not something that we came up with. But I just wanted you to know that it's not anything the city is doing, and we don't even monitor it, the state, with their inspectors and restaurateurs and grocery store inspectors. They do all of that. So, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's the health department that you would talk to, and that's a county function. But I just wanted you to know it's not us.
Can I say I brought it here to you because that's what I've heard from business owners, is that the pressure's been coming from the city, not from the county.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'm not supposed to go back and forth, but what I will say is we have an economic development department, and there has never been one directive coming out of there that says you must have dogs, ever. We're just not that kind of put our thumb on somebody to say you must do anything. Anything that's happened in our city has been organic. We have 9 breweries because they organically grew, not because we said, hey, we want 9 breweries. The same thing with dog friendly. There is, Crown and Bull refuses to have dogs on their back porch. I don't care. We don't care. So I just wanted you to know the facts of the situation. So, okay, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you, David. We'll move on to our action items. And that is the first reading of ordinance 23-12, amending chapter 58, pensions and retirement, firefighters retirement system of the Code of Ordinance for the City of Dunedin. Jennifer, would you please read ordinance 23-12 by title only?
Ordinance number 23-12, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin amending Chapter 58, Pensions and Retirement, Article 2, Retirement, Division 2, Firefighters Retirement System of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dunedin, amending Section 58-51, Definitions, amending Section 58-54, Finances and Fund Management, Establishment and Operation of Fund, amending Section 58-56, Benefit Amount and Eligibility, amending Section 58-59, Vesting, amending Section 58-66, Minimum Distribution of Benefits, amending Section 58-73, Military Service Prior to Employment, amending Section 58-78, Prior Fire Service, amending Section 58-80, Share Plan Benefit, providing for severability of provisions, repealing all other ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. That was ordinance 23-12, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Vice Mayor Tornga,
Second.
Commissioner Walker. Thank you. Teresa, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Teresa Smalling, Director of HR and Risk Management for the city. You have before you Ordinance 23-12 as read by our city attorney. The changes are made in response to the Secure Act 2.0 Act of 2022, as well as to remain in compliance with the Internal Revenue Code and any new Treasury regulations. The changes were approved by the Fire Pension Board they were requested by the Fire Pension Board at their meeting at May 18th, and the changes were crafted by the Fire Pension Board attorney, Scott Christensen. Foster & Foster, the actuarial firm, has said that there is no impact to any of the assumptions that are used to determine funding for the firefighters' retirement system. And the city's benefits attorney, Lowell Walters of Carlton Fields, has also reviewed the ordinance and is fine with the changes. I can go through each one for you or answer any questions that you may have.
I think we'll just jump to questions. Any questions?
I have no questions.
Questions? No questions. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just one. So just to be clear, these are all basically technical changes having to do with legal requirements, and there's no cost impact, correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Anything?
No questions.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this item, please feel free to do so. Okay. We'll come back to the maker of the motion, which was, I believe, Vice Mayor Twanga. Any final comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Compliance.
Okay, Commissioner Walker,
No further comments.
Commissioner Franny.
No comments.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Franny?
Aye.
Commissioner Gao?
Aye.
Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Torga?
Aye.
Mayor Brzezowski?
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
All right, now we have a voluntary annexation land use plan zoning district amendments for 338 John F. Kennedy Street. This is the second reading of the ordinance 2306, second reading of ordinance 2307, and second reading of ordinance 2308. We will be having a presentation from staff, but ordinance 2308 is to rezone property, which is quasi-judicial, and therefore request City Clerk Schlichter to swear in all who intend to speak on ordinance 2308.
Do you swear the testimony you are about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, and does anyone need to disclose any ex parte contacts for the record? All right, so this is ordinance 23-06 annexation. Jennifer, can you please read ordinance 23-06 by title only?
Ordinance 23-06, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, annexing certain real property located at 338 John F. Kennedy Street, parcel number 242815, 59760-002-0060, with designated meets and bounds and totaling approximately 0.14 acres into the corporate limits of the city, providing for filing with the clerk of the court, county administrator, and the Department of State, and providing for an effective date. That was ordinance 23-06, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. Vice Mayor Twanga, Commissioner Franny, thank you. And we're going to get the entire presentation, correct?
It's at the pleasure of the commission.
Please.
Certainly, we can do that.
Please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the commission. Thank you again. This is the second read for this particular request. It has been transmitted to the county for their review and approval, and there has been no changes between the first read and this read. But at this point, I will turn it over to James to do, again, a brief presentation on the application.
And when I said entire presentation, I don't mean all
Abbreviated.
detail. I meant all three pieces, annexation, zoning, land use. Yes.
That's what we anticipate.
Yes,
Mayor.
okay. Just making sure you didn't hear that I spoke clearly. Gotcha.
Yes, I cut it down to 4 slides. Okay.
Very good.
So this is the application, as you heard from our attorney, the voluntary annexation of 338 John F. Kennedy Street with ordinances 2306, 2307, and 2308. This is the second reading. Here on the map, you can see where it's located just north of Parkland Cemetery, right off of Belcher Road in the enclave New Athens City. The application information, the owner is Habitat for Humanity, the applicant Ken Rush, and then we have a utilities department here as well to represent if you had questions there. The Habitat for Humanity is applying for annexation of the subject property from unincorporated Pinellas County into the city of Dunedin, including land use plan and zoning district designations. The land use will be the same as the county, but the zoning will change a little bit from residential manufactured home to single-family residential, R60, which is our most common zoning in the city. The use of property will also be the same. So the staff recommends this, and it's exciting to see Dunedin growing through the valiant efforts of Habitat for Humanity. And we recommend to approve this application for ordinance 2306, the annexation of the subject property, 2307, the designation of the property as residential urban, and 2308, to designate the subject property as single-family residential, R60.
Okay. Any questions?
I have none.
No? Okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to this item, please feel free to do so. Okay, we'll come back. Does the applicant have any presentations or?
Just a big thank you. Ken Rush, COO, Habitat for Humanity, to the mayor, to the vice mayor and commission. Thank you so much for taking the time. James did a valiant effort. I understand this was his first go for an annexation, so kudos to him. He did a great job. But really, it's hard to imagine finding land in the city of Dunedin that Habitat can actually build on. So this was a huge win for us. Worked with Bob Ironsmith and the city manager to actually get some funds.
It's
that
your
are actually going-
second. It's your second home in
Yes.
that area.
Yeah, it is our second, but unlike the city of Clearwater and St. Pete, the city of Dunedin is not an area where we get to do multiple houses on a
Sure.
regular basis, as you know. But working with Bob and the city manager, we actually were able to purchase this property from a private person. We have funds that will actually be allocated towards the end result. And I just looked at my schedule. We are scheduled to dedicate September 29th.
Yes,
So
Nancy's already reached out.
I was going to say, Nancy and
She
I
reached
talked
out to
about
me
it.
today. I haven't had a
I-
chance to answer her because we've been in meetings,
I
but
kind of figured she did. So
Yeah, she's
we're
already reached
excited,
out.
and we just want to say a big thank you for not only the annexation, but also the funds that actually support our mission.
awesome. Thank you
Thank you,
so
guys.
much. Okay, anyone else? All right, so this is for the annexation. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Walker,
Aye.
Commissioner Gao,
Aye.
Commissioner Franny,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Torga.
Aye.
Mayor Burzowski.
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. We have ordinance 23-07. Jennifer, would you please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance 2307, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, amending the City of Dunedin Land Use Plan as adopted by Ordinance 20-01 on certain real property following annexation located at 338 John F. Kennedy Street, parcel number 24-28-15-59760-002-0060, with designated meets and bounds and totaling approximately .14 acres to assign residential urban RU land use designation and provide an effective date. This was ordinance 2307, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Walker and Commissioner Gao. Thank you. This is the ordinance for land use designation, which we've already heard from the staff. So this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to the land use designation portion of this hearing, please feel free to do so. Seeing or hearing none, we'll come back to the commission. Roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Torga.
Aye.
Commissioner Franny.
Aye.
Commissioner Cow.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Mayor Burzowski.
Aye, that motion passes unanimously. And then finally, we have ordinance number 2308, zoning designation. Jennifer, would you please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance 2308, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, zoning certain real property following annexation located at 338 John F. Kennedy Street, parcel number 24-28-15-59760-002-0060, with designated meets and bounds and totaling approximately .14 acres to single-family residential R-60 and providing for an effective date. That was ordinance 2308, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Gao and Commissioner Franny. Okay, again, we've already received the presentation from staff. The applicant has already spoken. This is the zoning designation for this property, and this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to the zoning piece of this hearing, please feel free to do so. Okay, seeing or hearing none, we'll come back to the commission for any final comments on the entire thing. Obviously, we're all saying welcome to Dunedin.
Welcome
And
to
thank you
Dunedin.
to Habitat for doing this project. Any other final comments? Commissioner Gao?
No
Commissioner
comments.
Franny? No. Commissioner Walker? Vice Mayor?
No, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Torga.
Aye.
Commissioner Walker.
Aye.
Commissioner Franny.
Aye.
Commissioner Gao.
Aye.
Mayor Burzowski.
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll see you on dedication day, I'm sure. Okay. Now we have a certificate of appropriateness for 225 President Street. Before the staff presentation, I'm going to ask the city clerk to swear in any witnesses on this certificate of appropriateness.
Do you swear the testimony you are about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Francis and George, all you.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Frances Leong Sharp, Planner 2 for the City of Dunedin, here presenting the COA case of 23-01 225 President Street Pool Addition, excuse me. So what is being proposed for the certificate of appropriateness is a installation of an in-ground pool. The applicant would like to place that in the backyard, and as well as installing a low-profile spa and the decking that goes along with the pool itself. And this, probably some of you may be familiar with, this property was designated with a local historic landmark back on October 29, 2020. The previous owner had rehabilitated this structure.
This is Linda's house, right?
Correct.
Linda Businger.
So it's Mrs. Businger's house, which she previously owned, and the new owner, Mr. Blair Hawley, who is present here in our audience, that currently owns the house right now.
Awesome.
So in looking in the existing conditions of the backyard, as you can see here, it currently exists with just an outdoor space there. And as looking into the application, there previously was once an in-ground pool, but the previous owner had filled it in. And so we're coming back here again with the new owner of the property who would like to install an in-ground pool. And just to give you an idea of the aerial of the site and then the approximate location of where the in-ground pool is being placed. And then this is an enlarged, more detailed view of where they are looking to place the pool. And as you can see, it is being placed behind the home. And then right beside the pool house that you see to the left. And here are some more images of the proposed rendering of what the pool will look like. And then some renderings during the daytime and nighttime view. And in going with reviewing the criteria for the certificate of appropriateness, staff finds that the proposed pool will not physically impact the existing historic structures on the property. The pool, as shown in the images that I presented, is going to be located in the backyard, which will not be seen in the public right-of-way or public view, as you will. The denial of the certificate of appropriateness would not deprive the property owner of the beneficial use of the property, but the proposed pool is reasonably carried out by the applicant. The other criteria that we evaluated this against, and once again, it's the guidelines for new construction, as you've seen in the staff report, that staff has reviewed the proposed pool, and once again, it's located in the backyard, which cannot be seen from the front yard of the property, and therefore, staff determines that the proposed pool does not negatively impact the massing or height of the historical integrity of the existing structures that are sitting on the site. The Historic Preservation Advisory Committee, or the HPAC, had reviewed this application on July 13th, and they have unanimously approved the proposal of the in-ground pool. And as a result of that, staff finds that the request is consistent to the criteria, and based on HPAC's recommendation, staff recommends approval of the Certificate of Appropriateness, or the COA. And once again, we do have our owner here that are available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
I'm just going to ask the applicant if they want to come forward and say anything before we... Thank you. She always does. We're very proud of her. Okay, any questions from our commission? No? Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to this? Seeing or hearing none? Okay, well, we don't want to keep you from the water. I think you're good. Roll call vote?
I didn't get, did we make the
Oh,
motion?
no. Okay, see, I'm getting tired now. Can I have a motion to approve? Sorry.
So moved. Second.
He can be first, I'll be second.
Okay, Commissioner Walker and Commissioner Franny, thank you. All
Okay,
right, roll call vote.
So was Mo the motion and then?
It was Commissioner Walker and Commissioner Franny.
Okay, Walker.
I lean to my left.
Vice Mayor Torga?
Aye.
Commissioner Gao?
Aye.
Commissioner Franny?
Aye.
Did I do Walker? Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Now I'm getting tired.
Aye.
Mayor Buchowski?
Aye, the motion passes unanimously. Best of luck to you, and thank you for buying the house. We love it. Okay. Now we have the certificate of appropriateness for 225 President Street. Let's see, who is that? Oh, okay, I know you have an announcement, so go before I do any swearing.
255.
Oh, sorry.
Just the next one.
Oh, I wrote it, I typed
See?
it in wrong. The wrong one.
I knew it was the next one, I just read the wrong line. 255 Garden Circle.
Yes, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, I have a voting conflict with this particular issue since I am the owner of the house. And I will be recusing myself from this vote.
Okay. You're good with that, Jennifer? Yes, he's already filed. Okey doke. All righty. Okay, so again, I need the city clerk to swear in any witnesses that are going to speak to 255 Garden Circle North.
Do you swear the testimony you are about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Okay. Francis?
Yes, once again, Frances Leong Sharp, Planner 2 for the city. Here we are presenting another certificate of appropriateness case 23-02, 255 Garden Circle North, which is a proposal to replace windows and doors on the structure. So the description of work that we have here is that the owner would like to replace 11 windows located in the front half of the house, replace the front door, as well as replacing the back door. And we did look in the records that the owner had already replaced the second half of the house windows currently. And here we are seeing the mid-century ranch architectural style home that's been designated by the owners, Commissioner Walker and wife Claudia Walker here on March 10th, 2022. And just to forget to conclude, what the descriptions of the images that you see here are the windows that they are looking to replace. And then you'll see the door that's going to be replaced as well. And in the rear view of the property, you'll see that door that is being proposed to be replaced. The windows that you see there are already replaced, so those are not part of the review. And here we have the aerial in the survey to show you the approximate location of the replacements of the windows and doors. And once again, these are the proposed look of the windows that they are looking to replace. And one thing that I do want to point out is that these windows are going to be replaced with impact-rated windows. And it is for the protection of their home in terms of times of the storms that we see here. And these are the proposed doors that they are looking to replace. They do look different from what the existing doors are, but they are more in keeping to what they are, to the current architectural style of the house. And then in looking into the review criteria for the certificate of appropriateness, Staff has reviewed this application and determined that it will not physically impact the existing historic structures on the property, since it's purely a replacement of the openings, no enlargement, no alterations of any shape or size of the windows. And once again, the proposed windows will match the recently replaced windows that they had done a couple years ago, and to maintain the existing architectural style of the home. And once again, it's not altering the size or shape of the openings that they have of the house. They are simply just replacing like to like, or something more in keeping with the architectural style. Once again, the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee, or the HPAC, did review this application on July 13th, 2023, and they too had unanimously recommended approval of the certificate of appropriateness for the replacement of the windows and doors. So therefore, staff is recommending approval for this application. And once again, we do have our owners, our homeowners here, present in the audience for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for?
Just want
Get ready.
I don't think I can support this. I think that the owners have not been put through an arduous enough process yet. So I just want to put that on the record.
I know, I got to
Thank you.
tell you, I will say this. I'm surprised that we're here to approve pools and windows. I mean, so when we're looking at the whole certificate of appropriateness, I don't know why that rises to the level of us. I'm just saying. But that's just me.
Well, no, I actually think that you can leave it to the Historical Preservation Board, but I think we opted that we wanted it to come here as a.
That's correct.
Yeah, but for windows and a pool?
For the pleasure of the commission and the board, we are currently working on reevaluating
Thank
what
you.
comes to you as in the form of.
Because, I
CMOs.
mean,
We have to do it.
really.
With all this,
I'll throw it at the LPA. Let them do it. I mean, why do we have to do it?
I just
All
didn't
this
know if
new-
somebody else was against it, because why vote if we have two people against it?
Stop it.
I'm just wondering
I'm
with all
done
the new furniture, I mean, is it going to be ready for December 2nd and the tour homes?
Oh, yeah. True.
2 years in a row. It's such an easy process. It's,
I'm going to come work your house. I already called their house. Well, I'm doing it now. I'm calling their house. Okay.
I had
Sorry,
the
any other
privilege of
questions?
working in their house the first time.
I only stayed 2 hours and then I hightail it, but, no, literally. Anybody else, questions? Okay. This is a public hearing. Anybody wish to come forward and speak? Does the applicant wish to come forward and speak about her new windows and doors?
she's going to vote against it.
Well, as you know, I'm not the speaker of the family. I usually give that over to Rob, but he wasn't allowed to do that in this case. But, I know it seems kind of silly, to come before you, but we are merely the current caretakers of this 93-year-old gal. And it was a long and hard decision to give up our wavy glass windows and front doors. I mean, they've been there for 93 years, right? But last year, when we had this hurricane barreling down on us, and I realized, because it was all my fault, that we could potentially lose our house because I'm preserving the wavy glass windows. And despite the draftiness, the humidity that seeps in, I can never get the front half of the house, below 85 degrees, no matter how far down I turn that AC. It really speaks to the fact, though, that our passion is to preserve what we can in Dunedin to keep it unique. And it really, truly, these are the tiny little things that make our city really wonderful. So thank you for taking the time to really consider this. And you can all come over and see it. But in answer to your question, no, we will not be on the home tour this year.
Okay.
You missed your chances last year. Rob has told me that if we ever get asked that again, that he would just write the check, and that would be that.
Uh-huh. And she says she's not the speaker of the
I was
family.
thinking the same thing.
I mean,
That was
really?
great.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well stated.
Anyone else wish to come forward and speak to this item? All right, I need a motion, a maker of the motion. Commissioner Franny's going to make the motion,
Second.
just because she was being difficult. All right, any final comments?
No.
Thank you so much for preserving your home. And I would have had a hard time with the wavy glass, too. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Torga.
Aye.
Commissioner Gao.
Aye.
Commissioner Franny.
Aye.
Mayor Brzezowski.
Aye, that motion passes unanimously. Go forth and fix windows. All right, and last thing on our agenda is the proposed agenda for September 7th. Anybody, thank you guys, anybody, what do we got on here? Oh, the Fenway. You sure we got that all taken care of?
We're ready for Fenway?
We are. We have all of our paperwork and
Got all your ducks in a row?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then I don't know what the next thing is. I guess it's the second reading of what we just did? I don't know. It's not a big agenda, though. Anybody have anything else they need to add? All right, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor Torga, Commissioner Gao, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay. We're done.
Okay.